What is going on, guys? This is LSU Recruiting HQ. It is February 6th, 2024. I am your host, Michael. As always, we're here talking about everything and anything that is LSU. Today, specifically, we're going to be breaking down the LSU recruiting plan for right now, man. We got National Signing Day, the second National Signing Day coming up tomorrow on Wednesday. We got a 5-star that is on Flip Watch. And we got some other things to break down, man. But we're going to break down a whole bunch of stuff, man. This is kind of going to be like the latest recruiting update. And before I'm going to get to the good stuff and the stuff that's happening tomorrow, we're going to talk about a couple recruits that you might not have heard about yet. Obviously, this 2025 class for LSU right now, man, it is absolutely loaded. We're currently sitting at number one in the entire country. That's right. Not just the SEC, not just, whatever, the whole country, man. Number one. And it really wasn't that close until about a couple days ago. Ohio State picked up a couple big commitments and kind of closed that gap a little bit. But like I said, man, right now LSU sitting with the number one class in the country. And I believe since the last time that we spoke, LSU has got 2 commitments. One from Devin Harper, offensive lineman from there in Shreveport. I believe he's transferring into Calvary Baptist this upcoming year. He committed on January 30th, and then you also had Jabari Antone, cornerback. Probably, in my opinion, probably the most important player in this crop of Louisiana players that you're going after in 2025 because of the need for corners and the fact that, like, Corey Raymond is trying to prove that he still got it, man. There was a lot of doubters that said, oh, he kind of fell off here. Well, here's an example of why you brought Corey Raymond back, because you instantly made an impact now in your cornerback room by adding a guy like that. So, that being said, man, we're going to focus a little bit on 2025 here at the beginning, and then we'll get to the Terry Bussey stuff later on. And guys, I'm telling you, this 2025 class is going to be special no matter what happens, right? Because you've already done a lot of the big work that needs to be done. You got guys like Bryce Underwood, you got guys like Harlem Berry on board. So let me tell you another name, another 5-star, another player that's number one in his position that you really need to keep your eyes on and eyes peeled, and that is DJ Pickett out of Florida. A 5-star safety. Was he was at LSU recently for Junior Day. LSU offered him as an 8th grader, and guess who he got offered by? Yeah, none other than Corey Raymond at defensive back and Blake Baker, who just happened to be the linebackers coach then. The coaching staff is going hard after this kid, man. He is one of the best players in the country, not only just on the defensive side of the ball, but the entire country, and would be a huge get for LSU. LSU is turning up the heat. Corey Raymond was recruiting him at Florida and really picked it up as soon as he got into the office here at LSU. A guy that, has always been there, always talked about probably going out of the state of Florida. And after hearing what he said about the coaching staff and how everything kind of went on his visit, you gotta like where things are with LSU right now. It seems that they made a tremendous impression on this kid. So keep an eye on that. That is not like set in stone that, he's coming, he's committed or anything. This is going to be a long process, guys. Don't get all in a hurry on me and kind of rush to things. And there's a lot of things that can go on from here on out. And then we want to talk about another cornerback, right? So Ohio State recently got some news. A guy that LSU was going after really hard out of the Birmingham area, a 5-star corner, ends up committing to Ohio State. But with that being said, that has opened the door for LSU to really ramp up the pressure on Dorian Brew, who is a 4-star corner. Um, he is a guy that Corey Raymond has put so much emphasis on. A Texas guy. You know how LSU's had success in the Houston area. And this is no different, man. Dorian Brew, a talented corner, ranked as the number 3 corner in the country right now, according to On3. And you pair him with Jabori, Antone, and a guy like DJ Pickett. They were all on campus at the same time. Like, it was a huge surprise to see him on campus, but it sounds like Corey Raymond and LSU are pushing super hard and going after home run guys right now. And I really like LSU's chances with this guy as well, being that Ohio State has kind of filled up their board. He was rumored to be an Ohio State guy. His mother went to Ohio State, but his father ran track at LSU. So you kind of have the best of both worlds there. And now that I think Ohio State's probably going to back off for the most part, I like LSU's chances to get this guy. Dorian Brew, 4-star, number 3 corner in the 2025 class. Another name to keep an eye out for. And then the number 1 prospect as far as interior offensive lineman goes, we got Micah DeBose, man. A guy from the state of Alabama. Obviously, it's always hard to go into Alabama and beat out the Tide or beat out Auburn for this guy, but it sounds like, man, Brad Davis made a huge impression. He was also here for the Cajun Bash, LSU's sort of junior day, and he loved everything about it, man. Right now, the mix is LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, Southern Cal, and Alabama. So you have the in-state school there in play, but man, it sounds like the former Georgia commitment has really got left with an impression with Brad Davis. And with the way Brad Davis has been recruiting lately, man, I can't imagine an offensive lineman out there not falling in love with Brad Davis after what he's produced so far at LSU and, you know, what it looks like for the future after you signed a crazy amount of offensive linemen, highly touted guys as it goes now for the 2024 class. 2025 is going to be no different. LSU is absolutely on a roll as far as recruiting offensive linemen, and I don't think that's a name, or that is a name that you need to keep an eye out for. You already have Devin Harper on board. A guy like Micah DeBose could make this another top-tier offensive line class in 2025, along with the offensive weapons you already have with quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and then the guys you're going to be adding on defense. So, the news, well, not really news yet, right? But what we all want to talk about, the reason you're still watching, if you're still watching, make sure you like the video, first of all, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'm not even sure what you are doing, because it's completely free. All right, that being said, it's Terry Bussey time. Bussey to the boot is the saying going around. LSU Twitter's been going crazy. A&M Twitter's been going crazy. The whole recruiting world is going crazy because this is a 5-star, number 1 athlete in the country that really is indecisive about what he wants to do. He's committed to A&M as we talk right now, but everything I'm hearing, man, is LSU is giving this kid a ton to think about, and it is not a foregone conclusion that he ends up at A&M. LSU did a tremendous amount of work on the visit. Corey Raymond involved, guys like Sherman Wilson involved. Frank Wilson has been his main recruiter throughout the entire process. And it sounds like Brian Kelly laid out the framework and Blake Baker got him in there talking defense and really gave this kid something to think about. And I believe that the fact that this kid is so torn right now and he hasn't shut things down really means that LSU still is in the hunt. Like, I'm not just saying this for clicks or whatever, you know, pumping sunshine and rainbows. I really think LSU's got a chance here. And up until right now on Tuesday at 5 p.m., I believe LSU is in the running. Do I think they're the favorites? Absolutely not. This kid has been an A&M commitment for so long. He was a silent A&M commit. He took visits to Alabama, took visits to LSU, and still ended up committing to A&M. You have the staff changes. He never really decommitted. And that should tell you something about his loyalty as far as it goes. He gave Mike Elko the benefit of the doubt, gave him a visit. He didn't have to give them another official visit. That was his last official visit he took. And in the end, I really think that this kid has a real choice to make. He can go to A&M and probably make his family happy, stay close to home. I think LSU's number one pitch here to this kid is like, dude, you can walk into the secondary and start day one. That is the kind of dynamic player Terry Bussey is. And I think that rang with Terry Bussey, and I think it rang with his family. Like, I always think that starting day one is a huge factor in the way is LSU is going to be recruiting these defensive players as of right now, because that secondary is has struggled, right, and it's open to anybody, and you need guys like Terry Bussey to fill these kind of spots, where you need that star power, and you get a guy like Terry Bussey in here from Texas. You've already flipped 4 guys from A&M at the moment, so it's completely not out of the realm. That being said, my heart and my feeling is that he stayed committed to Texas A&M this long. I believe he's going to stay committed to Texas A&M, but that being said, I do believe LSU really has a chance here. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he ends up at LSU. I hope he goes to bed tonight and has a change of heart, and maybe something changes and LSU makes a great pitch tomorrow or tonight or whenever their final phone calls happen, and he ends up making his decision at 9 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, or 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. I just think that loyalty and that home state pride is going to reign true here, and I think Terry's going to end up at Texas A&M. But what an effort from LSU and the staff to even make this competitive. And like I said, man, hopefully things shift in the major turns in the last 24 hours of this recruitment, and LSU's able to land a guy like this, because he would walk in day one and start for LSU at safety. There's no doubt in my mind that he is a program impact player, and a guy LSU would desperately need in that secondary. So something to keep an eye on. National Signing Day in February is kind of freaking boring nowadays, now that the early signing period is a thing. But some LSU drama for you guys to look out for tomorrow. Remember, 9 a.m., Terry Bussey will be announcing his commitment. I'm not sure if he's doing like an actual commitment thing. I'm sure he'll just post something on his social media and kind of, reaffirm his commitment or announce that he has flipped to LSU. Really feel like it's a LSU A&M race. I know we heard a lot about Georgia there for a little bit, but I think it's LSU and A&M down the stretch. A lot of people are saying it's 50-50, and the fact that LSU got it to within 50-50, and neither staff kind of knows where this thing's heading right now, is a good sign for LSU fans that this thing ain't shut down, and it hasn't really leaked out that he is going to go to A&M, affirmatively. So that being said, man, that's all we're going to talk about today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you got to do, man. Just keep it locked in on LSU recruiting, and we will see you next time.